Hey there, my fellow bloodthirsty zombies. I have something to say about this story before it begins. Now, I absolutely want you all to be nice when you guys write your comments, because I believe the writer's first language isn't English, because the story sounds a bit off, but I did my best to make it awesome for you guys. So please leave nice comments. On the other hand, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos if you already hadn't. And don't forget to spread the infection by sharing my videos on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you all for being awesome zombies and slash subscribers. You guys are amazing. Now thanks for waiting. Enjoy the story. I guess we all have that one area with a creepy building and terrifying stories attached to it. Where I live, it was a building where apparently shadows are not allowed. Now, this confused us all because everything has a shadow, and it was quite mind-boggling to think of a place where shadows are not allowed. I have also heard that this building used to be a hotspot for witches and Satanists, who do weird rituals in there. I have been invited by a couple friends of mine to be brave and to venture into this strange building. Something for YouTube, I guess. But there have been stories of other people who have been in there and come out different. When I say different, I mean possessed, insane, and just never again the same. But to be honest, that just made this abandoned building even more attractive to venture into. We would talk about this at school, and we imagined getting high and letting the drugs do its work. We even started to speak of making this abandoned building our new hangout space. Eventually, it was me and two of my other fellow friends, which all three of us had decided to go into this ghastly abandoned building. When the day came, and we prepared ourselves mentally, and it was after school that all three of us met up. The day was quiet, and not many people were driving and walking about. It was one of those quiet days, and that made it even more creepier. Me, Thomas, and Fred stood outside this building and just taking in its atmospheric effect into our brains. We could clearly see from standing outside, looking in the front door, that there was injections and finished alcohol bottles all over the place. There was a street lamp just outside the building, causing a shadow on us three. As we stepped in, there was a sensational, strange, tingly feeling throughout our entire bodies, and our heads felt really light. We had torchlights with us, and when all three of us looked outside, we could clearly see all three of our shadows were outside on the front doorstep, under the lamppost, and we all looked at each other and started laughing in amusement. We shined torchlights at each other, and no shadow formed at all. This experience completely dazzled all of us. None of us literally had a shadow. There was, though, a golden shiny vein across our arms, but all three of us swore we had never had this golden vein inside of us before. We decided to explore the building, and all three of us were muttering to each other and joking about. "This is creepy as fuck," Fred spoke. "Yeah, I know. Imagine sleeping here," Thomas replied. "I bet some have," Fred spoke again. "It is weird. We don't have shadows anymore, being in this building," I added to the conversation. As time went by, Fred started complaining that something was following him, and that he could see something moving in the side of his eyes. Me and Thomas joked around with him about it, and Fred was serious about what he was saying, that a shadow-like figure was following him. Me and Thomas then reassured Fred that there was no shadows in this building, and we shined our torchlights on Fred and other objects, which showed no shadows forming at all. Then something moved so quickly, which made all three of us blink, and Fred fell to the floor. Me and Thomas quickly aided Fred on the floor, and while at the same time, I noticed something strange about Fred's arm. His golden vein was chopped in half, and then suddenly it had disappeared. And then black-like veins started forming around his body. Fred started shaking, and then, as me and Thomas tried our best carrying Fred back downstairs with all our strength to the open front door, I noticed Fred's shadow that was once outside the front door of this building, as it wasn't allowed to come in, had now disappeared. But mine and Thomas's shadow was still there, under the street lamp, and Fred started speaking, but it wasn't his voice. It was something else. I have been without a body for so long, and now I found one, Fred spoke. Me and Thomas tried speaking to Fred in this strange state, but still being inside, but near the front door, Fred spoke explaining to us, or the thing inside of him started to explain more things about this building. It's not that shadows aren't allowed inside, but birth shadows with masters or bodies are not allowed inside. Me and Thomas looked at each other, and Fred had a new shadow, as we could see it forming and trying its best to adapt to Fred's body inside the building. The shadows that live in this building are like lost samurais without a master or purpose. The golden veins in our arms were the connection with our birth shadows. When Fred's golden vein had been cut with his birth shadow by the new invading shadow that had been waiting in this building for so long, the shadow he was born with had been cut off completely. Our shadows do more than just follow us. They are the first protection against demonic possession and more. Me and Thomas knew that we were both sitting ducks and could end up like Fred. We both quickly dragged Fred out of the building, and mine and Thomas's shadow were now connected with us, except Fred, and we took him to the hospital. Fred is still being treated, and we hope he will get better. I wish we had never went there.